thing, and then he'll just like try to you start yelling again and try to not let you prove a point. He's just really like he doesn't know how to have a discussion.
Okay.
Do you think he's happy with his relationship?
I think now, no, I don't think so. I think he didn't know a lot of things that I know, and I know a lot of things that I don't put out there. That how many guys that she's done, like it's some crazy shit that she's a crazy girl. Like I don't know. I mean, he might be happy, but I don't know. I think he's going to get divorced. He's going to get half his money taken in a couple of years.
Jesus.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not here to personally attack anybody, but I do think in my personal experience, I'll speak from my own personal experience. In my personal experience, women who have been with lots of guys, they struggle to stay dedicated to a guy.
Yeah. Especially the girl that has been with over celebrities-wise, probably 20, 30 celebrity men. And then regular guys, probably over 100. And maybe more that I know of that I haven't put out there. And like guys that there's guys that are in the city, like just like club guys that have dated her for like months on end, taking her to weddings. And like multiple groups, she grew up in New York City, so she was just like that kind of normal socialite girl that dated every single club guy, stuff like that. He was actually presented, so the way he was presented to her is from a club guy. He's a promoter, and basically, like when you go out, and you guys probably have done this, like you go out with a promoter, they want to bring you chicks, and they do that kind of thing just to like look good. So he was actually brought her by a club promoter, and then he ended up marrying her. That's how they got together. That's the story.
There's a reason why men value innocence in women, and I think the innocence it's very attractive to us instinctually, and I think there's a bunch of reasons for it, but also one of the reasons for it is because we understand that psychological damage affects everybody, and breakups are psychologically damaging, and as a man, you're supposed to have scars, and you're supposed to go through difficult things and have trials and tribulations and be a damaged person to be a good man. The best men have had hard lives, but I don't think the best women have had hard lives. I think a woman who's been through a bunch of trauma usually ends up struggling to some degree, and she doesn't manage to dedicate herself fully to the next relationship. And I mean, I'm not here to wish any harm on anyone. Like I said,
Me either. I don't hope they get.
I'm in a very interesting situation, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and I don't wish they divorce, and I don't wish all these bad things on them. I mean, like that doesn't bother me. I was just putting facts out there. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't really give two shits about the kid's life. I hope he goes on and whatever, fuck it, does what he has to do. But it's a fight at the end of the day. We're promoting a fight, and
yeah, when you're promoting a fight, all gloves are basically off. I mean,
yeah,
that's how fights are promoted, right?
Especially when it's two guys. I mean, one guy I never boxed, and the second guy never won a fight. So what are we gonna talk about? Our left and right hooks? Like, no one wants to hear about that shit.
When's the fight?
This fight would never been talked about. You know what I mean? So I had to make it interesting. So there's a reason that he picked me. I made trouble, I made drama, and I did it. And I'm making him a shit ton of money. So
you did it, bro.
Yeah.
You did it. It can't be denied. You did it. And as for the future and what it holds for him, I guess it's his decision. I guess he feels like he knows her in a way that other people don't know her. But we can only talk from our personal experiences. And I think that men as a whole, all across the planet, all men value or all men respect women who are extremely exclusive or have extreme.
What is a lot of, sorry to interrupt. What is considered for a girl a lot of bodies or a lot of, what would you guys consider a lot of?
What would you say, Adin, first?
I think it depends on the age. Is that a good?
Okay.
Okay, so like I would say my age, under.
Well, she's 31. She's 31. So you're going at her age. If you're going to marry a 31.
Okay, so if I was 30 years old nowadays if I'm 30 years old and I'm not specifically I'm not gonna personally attack Logan or anything like that or Nina.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm just saying if I was 30 years old and I'm going for another 30-year-old. I mean, dude, Andrew, these girls lie all the time about their bodies. You never fucking know. You can't tell.
Yeah.
So
let's be honest. If you go to a club and you fuck a girl on the first night, do you really think you're the special one that you exactly? So they're doing it all the time.
What's the average girl? Would you guys say?
Adin, I'm gonna disagree with you there because I know what you're saying. They do lie, but I also think you can tell. I think that it's easy. It's easy to get like deluded, and it's easy to get led down the garden path, which is an English expression. It's easy to get led by a girl, and she can lie to you, and you can fall for the tricks. But I do think that part of you knows you're being lied to, and you just like to believe in the delusion. I think you can tell for some reason. I don't know why. I've always been able to tell. I can just tell. I have like spider senses. I'm just like
Andrew. Can you tell by the way she acts, how she treats herself, how the way her behavior is, or do you tell by like? If she, in the bedroom, if she like knows what she's doing extra well, like how do you really tell her? Like What's the way to
I think it
tell?
can be a combination. I think it can be a combination of things. But you know what's actually what can be most scary? I think that's a trap a lot of men fall for. Is that sometimes the coolest chicks are the ones who have been done so much shit that they almost seem like, oh, they're really cool and down to earth and they're really funny and they're nothing really bothers them and they're relaxed. But I think that's almost like part of them has died. I'll be honest. If you meet a girl and you're a second or third man, she's going to be a bit crazy over you. She's going to be obsessive over you. And
I agree.
she's going to be a bit, if you get these girls who are just super cool. When I meet a girl and she's super like down to earth, super cool, and she's like, yeah, whatever, yeah, no problem. They can be the funnest ones to hang around with, but secretly like, nah, she's a little bit too cool.
So what's a lot of bodies for?
I've always been able to tell, and in my personal experience and the people I know around me, etc., I think there's definitely a link. You can probably pull up a study on this somewhere. I think that the less sexual partners a person's had, the more likely they are to stay loyal to their husband. I think that's pretty well studied.
Okay, fair enough. But what is a lot of bodies nowadays? I think when we were 30, bro.
Also too, like if we're out in Miami, right? I mean, obviously might be out on haram for you, but like if I'm out and I'm in Miami and that girl approaches me and I probably would do it that night. Or we're talking about marriage, it's a totally different thing.
Fair enough. I agree. There's a difference between a hoe and a queen. I agree with you guys fully on that.
Like if I'm out at 11 at 12 o'clock and she comes around and
she knows what's up. She knows what she's doing. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Listen.
No, I know. Yeah.
So what you're saying is different.
Okay, so can you guys tell me what's the average body count? Not the average, but what's the average body count for a girl that's 20 and 30?
I can talk from what I can do is I can give you a personal experience. If I were like, all right, so here's how I approach life, or I think how a lot of men approach life. I can't talk about myself right now because of my legal situation, but let's talk about how men approach life. I think there's a lot of men out there who understand there's a difference between fun girls and good girls.
Yes.
And I don't think that it's a problem if you don't get the two confused. I think if you get the two confused and you take a fun party girl and get convinced she's a good girl, I think you get wrecked.
That's your problem.
And I think also if you treat a good girl like a party girl, you can also get wrecked because you'll lose the good girl. So you have to be very perspicacious, understand what you're dealing with. If I was to marry a chick, I would never marry a woman who had been with more than 5 guys. Ever.
Andrew, can you convert?
I'm going to hang around with a chick, party with a chick, whatever.
Andrew,
I don't think I'd even.
Andrew, can you convert a party girl from degeneracy to like a queen, or is that possible? Like whether it's
I don't know.
Whether it's religion or like, can you convert a party girl to a queen?
Well, why would you? I think you could if you have a strong enough frame and you're a high value enough man. But why would you want to do that?
That's true because it's like they already have the tendencies and shit, and like it's like
why would you want to?
Yeah,
genuine.
Yeah, it's true.
You always got to think too is like, do you think this girl would marry Logan if he wasn't Logan Paul? They have all this money and all this stuff. Do you think that she would still be with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we weren't talking about that.
Think about that every single day. You know what I mean? Like she probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, but so
like if he was some regular Joe Schmo and he still looked like Logan Paul, he wouldn't be married.
Okay, my generation, I just feel like is cooked, bro. I don't know, Andrew. Like.
The Western world's hard, G. To find a wife in the West is hard.
Yeah, it's fucked, I think, now, bro. Like, Andrew, I'm gonna be honest, like, it's like cool now for girls to like listen to like this, yes, bitch, like that type of music. Like, yeah, fuck them, my booty pink, my booty hole brown. Like, it's cool to like rap about like fucking guys and playing them and like fucking them and like stealing from them. I don't know, it's like a flex for girls to like, yeah, girl, be on your hot girl shit, period, sis. Like, it's cool to like fuck guys and then like play them and shit. It's like girls rap about it. They like want to be like them and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's it. That's fun. So like, that's why you look at Miami, right? Some of the most beautiful women in the world are in Miami, and Miami's amazing to party. You can party in Miami and have a bunch of fun with girls, but you're not going to find a wife in Miami.
It's impossible. It's not happening. But Andrew, you might be able to find a girl outside of Miami. Like that's not from Miami. Like in Florida specifically. Like you could find someone outside the city.
So it depends what you're looking for. So me personally, and I talk from personal experience, if I marry a woman, I want to make sure that what we have is extremely exclusive. I want to make sure that I get to show her the world. I want to be her gateway to the world. I want to be the first person who puts her in a supercar, the first person who puts her on a nice jet, the first person who takes care of her. I want to be the first person to show her things. I want her to have done everything with some other dude first. Right. Why would I want that?
That's so hard to find now too. In Miami, every girl's on a yacht. Every girl's on.
They're all getting fucked.
One girl. The next night they were with another guy.
Right, and they want to be Dylan. They want to be in the section. They want to drink that 42. They want to be next to the signs. They want to be. They just want to be in the limelight, bro. That's why, Andrew, we were talking earlier. It's not cool anymore to be involved in that shit, bro. It's like corny, cringe to me now. Like it's just.
It's true, but wives do exist. They're hard to find, but we're not talking about. I mean, we're talking about Logan, but we're not talking about someone he's dating. We're talking about somebody he's dedicated his entire life and his fortune and his future to, and that's a big risk if they've had that much history. I mean, I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it. I have all my wives have been very few men, very few.
At 31 years old, she has over 100 bodies. That's tough, and she's dated every single celebrity. Like,
by the way, you guys think Miami's bad? LA is twice as worse, Andrew. Twice as worse.
Yeah. LA, New York, Miami. I mean, they're all the same.
Dylan, I don't even know how you live in New York anymore, man. It's so bad out there. I was asking the NPCs around Central Park or Washington Park about genders and these things, and these people are fucking brainwashed. It's really bad. It's super fucked up, man. You got to get out of there. I'm telling you, New York is horrible.
For me, though, I mean, like, if someone like the trans of whatever they do is, if they're happy, then I'm happy if they're happy. But like teaching on kids and shit, I don't believe in.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Look, let's be honest. Let's cut the shit, right? We're living in a world now where me saying that female innocence is respected is enough for me to get demonized and them to put me in jail and attack me with the full fucking attack. They'll put me through lawfare. You're going through lawfare now, Dillion. They put me with lawfare criminal for saying that women's innocence is respected, but we know, all men intrinsically know, that female innocence has always been respected. Promiscuous females have never been respected since the dawn of human time in any culture, in any religion, in any country. Even the West, only 50 years ago, promiscuity was massively frowned upon. I think that every single holy text, it doesn't matter what religion you are, speaks the same thing about how important it is to avoid female promiscuity. And there's a special bond between a man and a woman when she hasn't been with a bunch of other men. There's a special bond, and it's tangible, and you can feel it, and you can see it. And I know it's hard in the Western world today, but if I get married, I mean, the white dress is supposed to mean virgin, G. You know, like, and okay, virgin's a bit extreme, perhaps, but a lot of women as well. I think a big problem that a lot of men make, they want to marry women, or women want to get married, and the man is confused because he thinks she likes him, but she doesn't want to be a wife. She wants to get married. She wants to Instagram. She wants to flex. She wants the lifestyle.
The lifestyle.
She wants to dress.
Yep.
She wants the attention. She wants all of that. She doesn't want to dedicate herself to her man and be an actual wife. And in my experience, it's another thing that I find quite interesting. Sometimes the girls who have done the most heinous things with the worst histories are the ones who are the most obsessed with marriage because they want to wipe the slate clean. And they want to pretend that there's something they're not, and they want it all to be forgotten. So they're the ones that push for the marriage the hardest. No, marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me. And they'll hold off on sex and pretend to be a good girl and all this garbage. I want the wedding because they're trying to prove something to themselves because they feel inside themselves they've done some bad shit they shouldn't have done.
But they can't change, Andrew. They are who they are. At the end of the day, they're just trying to hide it. But they're always,
she's getting up there in age too. She's 31, so she's getting out of that prime of going out and doing all that shit, you know? Every guy's going to find the newest 19, 20-year-old and bring them on their yachts, not the 31-year-olds. There's a reason she's looking for marriage. But Candace Owens put it in a good way where she was saying how women think when they're younger it's cool to go party and do all this shit and take pictures of all the celebrities and fuck every athlete. But then when they realize that every guy basically is just going to go for the younger girl and you're getting older and the guys don't want to marry that, you know? So she put it like perfectly. And like she's a woman and she like, you know, she has great values and stuff like that, and she explained it perfectly. But yeah, no, exactly.
Well, yeah, and Candace is an amazing woman. I know her very well. I know her husband very well as well. They're amazing people. But that's the reason society is so broken, because we're living through a history now. We're living through a version of reality. This is the first time in human history where women could be so openly promiscuous. None of us know how to handle it. Women don't know how to handle it.
Money from it, so they're like, okay, why not? Like, I'm 20 years old. I can put my OnlyFans and make $500K a year. But then when they get older, they're like, holy shit. Now I got to deal with all this repercussions of me putting all my body out there. But that's, I don't know, I'm not a woman, but you know.
Okay, right? Because men don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to find wives. And women don't know how to handle it. I don't think women can deal with the psychological trauma of being with a bunch of men and nearly as well as they pretend they do. They can pretend they don't mind.
Chat,
but I
where's
think
the
when
best
they're
place
alone
to
in
meet
bed
a girl,
in the
chat?
deep dark night, they regret a lot of the things they've done. And it's the first time we're in history now where women are living out these lives and they're being encouraged by the Matrix. And nobody, either male or female, truly knows how to handle this unique scenario we're in. The happiest women I know have been with very few men, or one man or two men in their entire life. The happiest women I know. Happily married, happy. So, I don't know. I mean, perhaps I'm a terrible person. Perhaps I'm this big evil misogynist like they say I am. But I think that a woman is happier when she keeps herself exclusive.
you have the balls to say whatever man wants to say, but doesn't want to say because they don't want girls to switch on them. Because like ever since I started coming out with this, every girl unfollowed me. It's like so it's hard. I think you just say what men actually want to say, but don't want to say. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we respect innocence
Yeah,
because it's
exactly.
innocence that encourages us to protect and provide. We respect that innocence in a woman. I
Yeah.
certainly do. And
And
I've
Logan tried to
done
push it
podcasts
on
before
me.
where they're like, oh, yeah, I've done like Fresh and Fit and blah, blah, blah. And the girls are like, oh, yeah, but I'm great in
Oh
bed. I said, I
yeah,
don't want you to be good in bed. I want you to be innocent and pure. I want you to have a pure heart. I don't give a
yeah.
shit about how much practice you've had on dick. I don't want to hear that. That's not interesting.
But
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, yeah, it's a weird dynamic. But I mean, I guess fuck him, bro. It's a fight, and he shouldn't be doing all this suing shit with all this bullshit. It's just like we're just promoting. But I guess she can't handle
I
it, and she
agree with you
follows
there.
it
So
as a
like I said, I've had my disagreements. I've had my disagreements with Logan. I've had whatever he hated me, and he was fully Matrix when I got canceled and blah blah. Blah. I
yeah.
don't know the dude, but yeah, I agree with you there. When it comes to fight promotion, all gloves are off. Like I don't think there should be lawsuits involved. You should be able to say whatever it takes to get views, and I think you've done a fantastic job. And you're right, he owes you a favor to a degree because you've certainly brought attention to the fight. That can't be denied.
It's true.
And
I think he's very egotistical, from what I heard. I don't know him personally, but I heard that whoever's around him, if they don't agree with what he does, it like he agrees on, he kicks them out of their group and makes them sign NDAs where they can't talk about things. And so he's just an egotistical like maniac, and he can't handle that. I'm making a narrative that he can't control, so he's trying to shut me up. Kind of like what you're going through, but like, you know what I mean? It's fucked
yeah,
up.
sure. I mean, the interesting thing isn't even the fight so much now. The interesting thing is across the next 5 to 10 years if they stay together or not, right? Because if they make it work, then nothing matters. But if they don't make it work,
Yeah,
then it's
exactly.
going to be a lot of conversation.
That's what I was
That's
told
what
too. There
Taylor
is
said too.
I heard that too. Dylan, someone had told me. They said like Dylan won the fight if Logan and his wife don't make it. Like that. I mean, it's like I just man. I look, Dylan. I'm gonna be honest though, bro. Like I just want to see you two just get. Wait, when is it? October. When is it?
14, like 4 weeks, 4.5. Yeah, like less than almost 4 weeks now.
Like you made
It's
Logan.
an easy fight. It's an easy fight. We should be fighting MMA with all this talk. It should be.
If it was
I know you
MMA,
could
if it was
not,
MMA, you would win 100%. I told you for the
like
box.
he guaranteed me a rematch in MMA. But we'll see if he's not a man of his word. But you know, fuck him.
I
It
do
should
think
be
also,
MMA.
though, I want to say something. I know America is the most failed nation in the world, but there are a lot of women in the world, especially in
Oh,
other places, and especially in America as well. There's a lot of women who understand exactly what we're saying and understand that their purity is an asset and it should be protected at all costs. There are a lot of women who actually very much understand for me to be respected, I need to make sure that I'm not promiscuous. And I think even women intrinsically understand this. If you see a woman insult another woman, what do they call them? They call them a slut. It's the first
yeah.
insult
That's
they
true.
use.
That's true. It's the
But the
first.
girls that get mad are the ones that are already done it, that are in New York City, that were 23, 24, and all the guys had cocaine at 6 in the morning, and they were doing it their whole lives, and
Let me
now
use the
they get
bathroom.
older and they stop, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, fuck, what do I do? I can't go against this because like everybody already knows I've done it. So then they're like, oh fuck, these guys are misogynist and this whole thing. And it's like, I'm not misogynist. I love girls. I said this. I love sluts. Like I don't know. It's a weird dynamic how I got into this whole thing because I'm not like the big misogynist guy, but I
Well,
don't
the
know.
whole misogyny is another weapon is another word they've weaponized, and they just throw it around. It's
I
not
know because
misogynistic.
now I'm like everybody's
It's not
attacking me for this.
misogynistic to have an opinion, and it's not misogynistic to have a standard. For me
Yeah,
to wake up and say I want a wife who has been exclusive or has been very hard to access, that doesn't make me a bad person. For the same reason, a woman's allowed to say I want a man who can buy me lunch. It's just a
yeah.
standard, and we're allowed to have standards. They've attacked masculinity to such a point now where if you have any kind of standard as an individual, they're going to call you a misogynist. You're not allowed to hold women accountable for anything. Their own actions, what they've done, their past, their history. No, you're not allowed to have an opinion on it, or they're going to call you misogynistic, which is obviously insane. And that's what they're going to do. So that's the obvious weapon they're going to attack you
Yeah,
with. But
Logan was trying to attack me. He's like, "You banged this many girls, this and that," and I'm like, I don't even know what to say to him. I'm like, "Are you really going down this route right now? Like, you're trying to say I'm like, I don't know what he was trying to say. He was like, I'm a male slut, and like how when a guy does it, it's so cool, but when a girl does it, it's not cool." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what point you're trying to prove," but he's just like, I don't know. He's just like trying to put in his whole head, and he's trying to save himself, and he can't handle it. He can't handle the man. He's not a fighter, and I didn't. I realized that before. I thought he was an entertainer, and I thought that I could, have a dance partner that's we're selling a fight, and we both do have bad blood. But he's not a fighter. He can't handle like all this, like, you know. He just
Can
can't
you hear me?
handle the
Yes or no?
punching.
Hello.